Hello and welcome to another edition of the Fatu Network News Review. Today, 8 October 2018. I am Omar Wali. It was an eventful 48 hours, if you like, in the country, but we had an interview with some of the NAMs who were accused of taking bribe from President Adama Barrow. And we'll be speaking to another one who admitted of receiving the money, but he said he did not consider it to be a bribe. We also ask people, should Barrow be given to second term after these 5 years? Should he be given another term? As well, we also spoke to the National Assembly member for Woodley West, Honorable Sidia Jata, who is also the chairman of the PDOIS party, on his assessment on President Adama Barrow's presidency, 18 months into his leadership. But before all that, I will start with the newspapers as usual. On the Standard newspaper, I speak out to stop corruption. That is from the National Assembly member for Upper Fuladu West, Honorable Kausu Jawara. Honorable Kausu Jawara, the National Assembly member for United Democratic Party for Upper Fuladu West, who has dropped a bombshell over the weekend, alleging that President Adama Barrow has been giving UDP NAMs $10,000 a monthly, that is around $200 US. He told the Standard newspaper that he has decided to speak out to stop any possible acts of corruption. Honorable Jawara posted on Facebook about these allegations. About Standard spoke to him, and he said over the weekend, Jawara shocked the nation, including his own peers, when he alleged that on Facebook that National Assembly members of the United Democratic Party has been receiving $10,000 from President Barrow each month. The revelation caused a big uproar on the social media, with many Gambians expressing outrage. Others doubt Mr. Jawara's claim. However, when the Standard newspaper contacted Mr. Jawara, he confirmed, and he said he stood by his comment. This is a new initiative that the president started, but most of the MPs they approach, including me, refused to take the offer. This is why I decided to expose them to discourage the move, because it could promote corruption, Jawara told the Standard newspaper. He said his intention is to expose. His intention was meant not to expose, to name or shame people, but to ensure that he discouraged any form of possible corruption, because he does not see any reason why anyone should engage in paying parliamentarians. However, when the Standard newspaper contacted the Director of Press and Public Relations at the Office of the President, Ami Bojan Susoho, she said she has no idea about the allegation, but promised to find out and get back to the Standard newspaper today. Government has failed to meet the needs and aspirations of Gambians. That is the National Assembly member for Woodley West, Honorable Sidia Jata, who is also the chairman of the PDOIS party, has said that the government of President Adama Barrow has so far failed to meet the needs and aspirations of the Gambian people. The fundamental expectations of Gambians are yet to be met. Example, the employment of youths of the country. Also, they continues to be indebted and before, and while the plight of farmers and youths remain the same, he told the Standard newspaper. Honorable Jata, who is also the chairman of PDOI, said Barrow's government is supposed to be a coalition government run by a coalition, but that has never taken place. He said Barrow chooses ministers, and he has been firing some and hiring some, like it used to be in the previous administration of former President Yahya Jammeh. And the Gambia Democratic Congress, GDC, has speak on the state of the nation. That in opposition, Gambia Democratic Congress has issued a statement signed by the leader Mama Kandeh, saying the party is seriously dismayed and concerned about the current abnormal state of the political and social economic affairs of the country. And the release comprises issues including the arrest of Dr. Amadou Skatel Janneh. He was arrested for his alleged involvement of destroying pipes of the Chinese fishing factory, the Golden Lead. And they also talk about the oil exploration, the ID card issue, the State of the Nation address, which was held a few weeks ago, travel allowances and privileges, declaration of food crisis, First Lady Foundation, and so on. That was a statement signed by the GDC leader, Mama Kandeh. And on this Point newspaper, Fuladu West lawmaker accused Barrow of bribery. The same story. Honorable Jawara accused President Adama Barrow of bribing some UDP NAMs $10,000 monthly. Edward Francis Small hit by another blood bag shortage. That is the information reaching the point has it that Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital, the country's biggest referral hospital, is facing another shortage of blood bags. Sources say that the circumstances has resulted to the cancellation of a blood donor session with Unity Foundation on the 6th of October 2018. The staff working at the blood donation center at EF Small Teaching Hospital have tried all efforts to reach out to the Kanifing General Hospital Blood Bank unit in order to cover up the situation. But similar problems equally grapple the hospital too, a source told the Point newspaper. Construction of a container terminal to create 200 jobs for Banjul youths. That is the mayoress of Banjul, Rahima Malik Law. You may remember last week she celebrated her 100 days in office, and that was contained in her message. On Foroyaa newspaper, GRTS appears before Public Enterprise Committee. That is the Gambia State Broadcaster GRTS has on Friday, October 5th, 2018, appeared before the National Assembly Select Committee on Public Enterprise, the PAC and PEC, for presentation of its activity report and the financial statement for the year 2015-2016. However, the Foroyaa newspaper said proceedings suffered a setback as the current GRTS board chairman was not present. And Dr. Lyman J. Sise, appointed chairperson of TRRC, that is the Minister of Justice, has announced that Dr. Lyman J. Sise has now been identified as chairperson of Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission, replacing Mr. Ablai Morikeba Jane. And the Gambia Teachers Union commemorated World Teachers Day. The Voice newspaper also on the same story, a lawmaker alleged Barrow paid some NAMs, and the UDP lawmakers denies allegation of president bribery. That is the National Assembly members who were accused of taking the bribe have denied the allegations. They also, on the Voice as well, GDC concerned about the current state of the Gambia, like on the Standard newspaper, the oil issue, the corruption, as well as the First Lady Foundation. And on Daily News also is reporting, they are also on the cost of ID cards need to be revisited. That is the chief of JARA, and that the Bakari Sanyang, chief of JARA Central, has argued that the cost of new national identity cards is too high for most Gambians, and therefore urge the government to get it revisited. And Chinese embassy ambassador bids farewell to President Adama Barrow. So that's all we have for you today, and we now move on to this report we prepared today. As you may know, Honorable Jawara alleged that President Barrow has been giving $10,000 to National Assembly members monthly, and which is equivalent to $200 US. And but following that revelation by Honorable Jawara that the $10,000 is given to UDP NAMs, and we spoke to Sekuba Jaju of Busumbala. He's a National Assembly member for Busumbala, so he gave us his reaction. Let's take a listen to him.
Your 3G SIM card today for the Real Official 4G SIM and receive 1 GB of internet data for free.
It's not an allegation to me. I'm seeing it as a lie against me, against my credibility, against the credibility of the party and the president. It's something unfounded and not true. It's an opinion that a member feels to express, and he expresses it without mentioning anybody's name. Then, during the comment, somebody attached my name and some member's name to it. So we could be suspect. So I come to the media to claim myself that I, Sekuba Jaju, is never bribed or even receive a call, because this thing happens when I was in the provinces.
Okay, was it true that you people were approached by Lamin Cham, an aide to the president, that he wants to give an allowance to National Assembly members?
No, I was not approached. I personally was never approached. I am not approached. I called. When I hear the information, I had to call. Because when this happens, it found me in Diabuku on an educational program. When I saw it on the, I called Sana Jawara, the member who posted on Facebook. Where is your source? He said Lamin Cham. I tried to call Lamin Cham. I could not get Lamin Cham. All right? Then I told Sana to go and clear it out. Who are the members? He said he doesn't know of any member. He was called. So I personally was never been approached. And I have a very good relationship with the president and with Lamin Cham. But in this area, this aspect, I'm not approached. Very good. So this is an ill will attaches, try to fight our credibility. That's what I'm seeing. I'm credible, I can do the job. Everybody knows that. They want to fight my credibility, credibility of the government, credibility of my party.
Who is that person then?
Anybody on Facebook. That's why I'm appealing to anybody whom you know that you are very sure Shekuba has taken this money. Come out to the public and show yourself out. I take you to court.
So what would be your message to the general public?
The general public, let them be vigilant. The Gambia is for Gambia. Adam Barrow is our president. UDP, the leader is Honorable His Excellency Hussein Dabo. And then UDP forever. We are united forever and we will remain united.
Global is pleased to launch Dalaba Housing Estate. Dalaba Housing Estate is our newest estate located on the Sukuta Jabang Road. You can buy a finished 2 or 3 bedroom house or service plots accompanied with a free fence and gate. At Dalaba Housing Estate, you get to enjoy bituminized roads, gated and fenced properties, solar street lights, water reticulation, public amenities, 1,500 fruit trees aligned in streets and many more. Make a 40% down payment today and spread the balance conveniently for 10 years with GTBank, EcoBank and Trustbank.
That was Honorable Sekuba Jaju of Busumbala constituency there speaking to me earlier on the allegations. Now on the line from Brussels, I have Honorable Madi Sise, the National Assembly member for Serekunda West. Honorable Sise, welcome.
Thank you.
Well, as you know, there has been allegations that President Adama Barrow has given $10,000 to some United Democratic Party nationalist members. So, to start with, we spoke to Sekuba Jaju of Busumbala constituency, and he denied the allegations. As far as you know, did you receive this money or you did not receive the money?
I received the money.
Okay. So who gave you the money?
Lamin Cham, from the president through Lamin Cham.
Did he tell you why the money was given to you?
He said it was from the president. Simple as that.
So when he said it was from the president, you accepted the money?
Yes, of course. That's what I told you.
Yeah, so, but did you ask him why is the president giving you money?
I did not ask.
No, but I'm asking you, did you ask why the president
did not ask, I said.
Why didn't you ask why the money was given to you?
Is it compulsory for me to ask?
But we know that the president does not run a charity in this country. So as a National Assembly member...
That's your privileged knowledge.
Yes, but as a National Assembly member, and somebody sitting under that house there, somebody come with a $10,000 telling you, Honorable Madi Sise, this is for you, you did not question that person. Don't you think... okay, what do you make of that? Can you just receive $10,000 without asking why the money was given to you?
Look, the guy who they said gave me the 10,000 is within the man's means. $10,000 is for me. For the president to give me $10,000, he's not giving me millions. 10,000 is just like as I can also give $1,000 to anybody. That's my take on it.
But it depends on who gave you the money and on what condition. Because an MP came, a colleague of you told Gambians that the money, the president
was given to me.
But I spoke to some MPs.
Look, no money is, no condition is given to me.
But as a lawmaker, somebody representing a whole Serekunda West, if somebody come to you and give you money, is it not morally right for you to ask the person why this money? Because somebody cannot just be dishing out money to people like that.
Common sense. That is common sense. Because if somebody gives you money, it's common sense whether you need to ask or not. That's common sense.
Are you not windowed? Okay.
People, look, just wait a minute. It's not obligatory on me. It's not compulsory on me to ask why. If somebody gave me something that I knew the person can give out that, why would I ask?
Okay.
If I want, I ask. If I want, I ask. If I don't want, I will not ask.
Now
so
that
I don't think it's compulsory on me.
Honorable Sise, now that there is an allegation that an UDP is calling for an emergency meeting, all their names, except you and a few others who are in Brussels, Do you have any plans to return the money back? Because it has some connotations that there is kind of a corruption.
Why would I return the money back?
Because they are saying that the president is using it. Allegedly, a colleague of yours saying that.
Excuse me. Question. Party wants me to ask. Why would I?
Because.
I didn't.
Yeah, because why would you return? Because it has now that there is an allegation level against the president that most of you, this money is given to you to buy vote ahead of the UDP Congress.
What is the allegation?
That it was a bribe, inducement, to buy you people in the coming Congress.
It's a bribe.
Yes, a bribe. That's what he alleged.
Those who allege.
I think I'm having some. Hello? Hello? Yes, I can hear you now. You can continue.
If anybody is alleging that is.
Yeah.
I am not bribed. I was not given any conditions, so I would not call it bribery because I know nobody can bribe me.
So as far as you are concerned,
nobody can bribe me. Nobody can bribe me.
But you accepted $10,000 without knowing why. But you accepted $10,000 without asking the person as why that money.
I told you that, my friend. I told you I receive it.
That's what I'm saying.
What else do you want? I told you I receive it, yes.
But
so what is it?
This is the same thing that happened with the vehicle issue. And you said you did not bother. And somebody who has been representing a whole constituency can be receiving.
I didn't say what? You said, repeat that again.
I said the same thing happened with the vehicle policy, with the vehicle given to the National Assembly members. When you are in the studios here, we ask you, and you said, like, you are don't bother to find out why that money goes, that car was given to you.
Because the car was given to me by the National Service. So why would I ask them? That's not my business.
I'm not bothered about it.
President Barrow didn't give me the vehicle. The vehicle was given to me by the National Assembly Services.
True,
and
President
I ask
Barrow.
you, journalists, to do your work. Go to the National Assembly.
I know.
Vehicles from.
I orders didn't. Okay, now I did my job. But what I'm saying here is your credibility. Is your credibility not at stake here? Is your credibility not at stake at the moment? You telling us proudly your credibility.
What?
Because some of your people someone said it's a bribe. Others said they did not receive. Now you are telling us you received and you are proud of that.
Look, don't put words into my mouth.
I am putting your own words into your mouth.
Wally, Omar.
Yes.
I didn't say that.
All right.
I said I received the money. Full stop. Don't try to put words into my mouth.
I'm not putting any words into your mouth.
Look, no, you cannot put anything into my mouth.
No, I'm not putting words into your mouth.
I can respond to any question.
Right.
I never said that. You know that. Play your tapes back. That would not be correct.
Right.
Replay your tape.
I don't have that tape with me. That was weeks ago. We talked about that vehicle issue, but the most burning issue now is the $10,000. That's what they are talking about. Now I'm talking about your credibility with regard to this $10,000 now, because
you are saying I said I'm proud to receive the 10,000.
That's what I'm saying, because you kind of not bothered by what others said it's a bribe. Somebody said it is not. He did not receive. Now you are telling me
it's not my business.
Okay,
ask me questions and I answer your questions. I don't mind what others say.
Okay, okay.
What I'm telling you is the truth. I have received the money, and I told you.
All right.
I wouldn't deny that. Why would I deny it?
And if President gave you another money tomorrow, are you going to accept or you will turn it down?
If he gives me 10,000 today, I will receive it.
And
the president has the ability to give 10,000.
Yeah, but on what
He's
condition?
not giving millions. If the president gives me millions, then that's another thing. Like I said, he's able to do that. Like I am able to give $1,000 to anybody, because that is within my means to give away $1,000.
All right.
But nobody will.
All right, Honorable. Yeah, carry on.
Cannot give 10,000.
Yeah.
Huh?
Pardon? I missed that.
I said. Who said he cannot give 10,000 to me?
We are not denying President giving you $10,000, but on the conditions the money was given to you.
No condition. condition was given to me. I said that loud and clear.
I understand that.
No condition was given to me. If a condition was given to me, then that's the time I would now say no or yes. But no condition was given to me, so nothing was told me. So nobody told me anything. So, like I said, if people are saying it's bribe, yes, that's their opinion. But I know President Barrow cannot bribe me. It's not possible. He cannot. He cannot.
Barrow cannot bribe you.
No, he cannot. Barrow cannot bribe me.
Thank you so much.
Cannot.
Thank you so much, Honorable Sise, for your time.
You're most welcome, Omar.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Barrow cannot bribe him rather. Those are the words of Honorable Madi Sise of Serekunda West. He admitted receiving $10,000 from President Barrow's personal aide, Lamin Cham. Orders Sekou Bajaju of Busumbala constituency denied the allegations. Honorable Jawara said this money was given out. Well, we move on to another story. Following all these claims and allegations, we sent our reporter, Mariam Sise, to speak to people and ask them what do they make of President Barrow. Should he be given a second time or a second chance to rule this country? Which means after his 5 years, should he be voted in, or should other UDP or should give him opportunity to run this country? Let's take a listen to that.
I think he should be given a chance to run for a second time, because, I've seen a lot of changes, for the past 2 or 3 years, since he's been in office. And I think, the Gambians should give him time, to put in some changes, because 22 years to change, policy of 22 years in just 2 or 3 years, I wouldn't agree with that, I think they should give him time.
What I think that is that, he came for 3 years. He told us that he want to stay in office for 3 years, then step down and give the seat to other people so that they can run it. Actually, when he came to office up to now, anyway, I think so that there is no changes up to now, because we are the youths. We are always struggling. Even me, myself, as you see me, I'm going around to search of work. So it's not easy, and he's always traveling outside. Instead of economy, that money, our country's money, but using it in other, other bill, we cannot understand. You will travel and come back, you will not explain the reason what you go for there and what you bring for us. So it's a big problem that I think so that he should step down.
I think he should be given a second chance, because every human being deserves a second chance. Maybe this is the first time he don't have a lot of experience to do some of the things. But maybe when we give him a second chance, we'll be able to see whether Adam Barrow is capable of being the president of the Gambia or not. Because this 3 years is too short. We are expecting high changes, but still, we are not seeing anything. So I think he deserves to be given a second chance, yeah.
Actually, I'm from Libya, actually. Yeah, I went up to Tripoli. I'm here back in the Gambia for about 4 months now, but still struggling. I don't see changes.
Yeah. So do you think that the people of the Gambia should do something about that, since it's democracy?
Yeah, the people of the Gambia should do something about it, and I think so they are doing something about it, because people are not happy. Any corner you go, they are complaining about it. Especially now, you see the teachers. They are complaining their salary should be adjusted, but still now, they cannot. For them, when they come to power, they adjust their salary, they increase their salaries. Why not the teachers?
Do you think that President Adama Barrow should be given another chance for presidency, and why?
For the 3 years, I think probably we can give him 5 years, as the Constitution states, but I don't think he can go beyond that.
So are you satisfied with everything he has done so far?
Not at all, not at all. I think he could do better. Expectations are really high. I think we definitely could do better. Yeah.
So do you think that the people of the Gambia should do something about that?
It's democracy. We have rights to complain, especially for most people paying taxes and all that. And I think it's mandatory for people to complain. But I think it's fair enough to give him 5 years and see if things will really change. But I'm not hopeful anyways. I'm not.
Thank you.
Replace your 3G SIM card today for the Real Africell 4G SIM and receive 1 GB of internet data for free.
Those were the voices from the streets of Serekunda there, excuse me, on whether Barrow should be given another mandate or not. Divergent views. As you know, democracy exists because not everybody agree on the same thing at the same time. We will bring an interview we had with Honorable Sidia Jata, the National Assembly member for Woolly West, on his assessment on Barrow's 18 months in office. What did he make of it? And we also be talking to a few other Gambians on the show, and those who want to contribute as well. Our address is Fatu Radio Live. That is our Skype address. You can call in and put video or audio, feel free. And you can also contribute Fatu Radio Live. That is our Skype address. We will be moving on with, we are trying to talk to somebody to reach and regarding the 10,000 saga. As soon as we lay our hand on the person, we'll continue. Meanwhile, those who also want to contribute or join the show can call Fatu Radio Live, all small caps. And our technicians are working on getting 1 or 2 people online as soon as they're available. I think we have one of them. Hello? 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 Well, I think we're having a trouble with that. Hello?
Hello?
Yes. Tukulor, how are you doing?
Tukulor is sick. You know, I had a cold, but now I feel like I'm going to have a heart attack now.
Well, why heart attack?
No, what happened with Madi Cisse right now is the most heartbreaking thing ever. This guy who, as you know, suffered a lot under Yahya Jammeh. He was very active in the struggle, very, very upright guy. I just loved him to death. And to have him, you know, at least we have to give him credit for being honest, because everybody else who got the money is saying they didn't. But Madi came and told us he did. Yeah. This tells me one thing, that Adama is really out to undermine the Gambia as a nation, and his party, UDP, which had really, UDP did a lot of work to mobilize to mobilize so many members into their party, only to have Adama Barrow come and dash, throw that party under the ground. Then this guy also, this Lamin Cham, who is a Gambia government civil servant, should also be fired because he has been caught in bribery. Bribing a National Assembly member is something that is worthy of firing from his job. Omar, I am devastated.
But like you said, Madi was honest, but Madi said he did not consider this as a bribe. He said President Barrow cannot bribe him.
Omar, if it smells like a duck, then it is a duck. You cannot have, a responsible citizen, especially where you are a National Assembly member, you are not going to have somebody give you $10,000 without asking why you got that 10,000. So I hate to say this to Madi, but if you ask me, I'm saying that Madi at that point lied, because there's no way that Madi would take $10,000 from anybody without knowing why it was given to him. Yeah, this is just devastating. But one of the things that those of us in the need to also think about. Sometimes, we sit here and we say, oh my God, they took the $10,000. This is unfair to these guys. People are very poor. And Madi said that. Madi said he's a poor Gambian. You take $50,000 and give it to him. It's going to be hard for him to give it back. And that is why the kurukuri of Adama Barrow comes into play here. You cannot put 10,000. You tell a National Assembly member, I'm going to give you a $10,000 allowance. Let's be honest. So that is going to be very hard to resist.
Who is the problem here? Barrow came, like I told Madi, as far as you know, Barrow doesn't run a charity in this country, and you cannot just come and dish out $10,000 to people. But again, Madi also received the money without asking why the money was given to him. So don't you think both of them are at fault, both the giver and the receiver?
Exactly. That is what I said. That is why I said, as much as I hate to say this to Madi, he lied there. There's no way Madi, knowing how smart this dude is, there's no way he will take $10,000 and just shut his mouth. I think, they got exposed. And that National Assembly member that everybody is shaming, I'll be honest with you, when the 57 cars thing came out, I wrote it on my wall, and some National Assembly members actually attacked me there. We have to realize that look at those National Assembly members, all of them that took the cars. They are not able now to say anything about this $10,000. That is why you need to separate, the president bribing you to what your job is in the National Assembly. The National Assembly need to really give, Barrow back his gifts. If Barrow had taken that $10,000 and said to the National Assembly members, the government will increase your pay by $10,000 a month, all of us would have cheered him. That is what he should have done. He shouldn't have been selective as to who he gave that $10,000. Barrow is not fit to govern. And I'm saying this now. Those of you who are out there fighting for Gambia right now, do not be distracted. Fight for what you believe in. We fought Yahya Jammeh until he left. People insulted us up and down and left and right. And we persevered. This is the country you fought for. You fought for this democracy to come in. Do not allow one person, an inexperienced Adama Barrow, to ruin this for you. I told you guys, Omar, Adama Barrow, he consolidated Uncle Ousainou Darboe because Ousainou Darboe was going everywhere and he was looking very presidential. I saw it and I told you guys and you didn't believe me. He made him VP to put him in a corner and that's what he did. This guy needs to go. He's dangerous for the government.
So, if our National Assembly members, as alleged, this one are accepting his gifts like this, where do you think this country is heading to? 57 vehicle was just blown out. In this,
I don't think you should blame party. You should say, what about where are we going with our National Assembly members? If you ask me, I will tell you right now, any National Assembly member who is there to be neutral and look at Gambia first, if you take bribery, you should be fired from that August government body because that is not a place. Omar, this is just like Yahya Jammeh. This is just like Yahya Jammeh. When you are going back and forth with Mahdi, I had this flashback back, and you have to realize that we have PTSD from Yahya Jammeh. All I could hear was APRC, and I'm talking to you, because that is what used to happen. They will do things for Yahya Jammeh. Fatu will bring them onto the radio, and they would defend, and they would lie, and be deceitful. And unfortunately, for a beautiful guy like Mahdi, I'm heartbroken for him. Really, really heartbroken for him. Any National Assembly member, they need to investigate this. And Adama Barrow has all these investigations that never get concluded. Yeah. The Faraba report is still not out. Yeah. The First Ladies Foundation, the money that they laundered, the thievery, that is still not even spoken about, much more investigated, because they're saying the foundation is investigating it. Adama thinks that by just putting things under the rug, they're going to go away. Gambians are not scared anymore. Gambians will scream, and this is not good for him, because a lot of us that are in the diaspora, these international organizations follow us and they know us.
Thank you so much, Tukulor, for your time.
You are welcome, Omar.
I think we have, that's Tukulor C there in the United States, and we will continue with our stories. And over the weekend, I understand that there is someone on the line. Hello?
Hello.
Yes.
Omar Abenyadi.
Mbijandara.
Ntelem keba nlafta contribution ole kila bi because mba ko nyimu serious dale.
No problem.
Bari ku kilim fana le sota. Madia minke corruption atlem amanya na kudita la president to andu amanyini karo fan okay. What's the reason you guys giving me this money?
Sure.
That's very wrong. Another thing, Tamba comment la killing finally, at least he's brave to come out and then kafu mole ko nyine happened.
Yeah.
Katu namo because I am pretty sure amanke adamati.
Well,
all fanambi jele kodo mindina, but they are all mute. Ibe ye dasu kile mansona de amula.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So at least Mahdi are brave to come out and tell people exactly what it is. But these are issues. Is the Nimanke Mahdi dronti. Baro be
yeah.
UDP, like he's just buying them. UDP executive lemwo Mahdi lemwo do lemwo. It's like this has been going on. More like you go it's so corrupt. We've cried so many times. This is all bringing us to Yahya Jammeh days. And Fananga Ousainou Fanam blame back in it. Nga blame back in it. Because nga Ousainou blame minna. Well, 57 vehicles in Kabra and Nata. He stood on TV, I Barrow defend. That's very wrong. We all know that was wrong. That was very unacceptable.
Yeah.
So Akamuntako, he paved the way. Akamuntako, he just paved the way for Barrow to continue doing this kind of corruption act. because I bunda drone ye lie.
Okay. Thank you so much, my brother.
All right. Thank you so.
Thank you for your time. That's another caller there, and like I earlier said, the National Assembly member for Serekunda West, Madi Sise, he is currently in Brussels. I had him here, and he admitted of receiving money, $10,000 from Lamin Cham, the personal aide of President Barrow. But he said he did not consider that 10,000 as a bribe. He said President Barrow cannot bribe him, and that money is not a bribe as far as he is concerned. Another person is on the line. Hello?
Yeah, hello?
Yeah. Who is this,
Yeah,
please?
hi. My name is Mamadi, and I was just trying to see if I can contribute to this $10,000 saga.
Feel free.
It's really crazy because I don't see anywhere in a democratic nation where a National Assembly member or a congressman or a U.S. senator will actually take money and there wouldn't be consequences. Only in the Gambia, somebody will come out on national TV radio and said that I've taken money I've taken money from the president and say, so what? That is messed up. Madi Sise should actually resign. Adama Barrow should resign right away. This is undone. It is so bad right now, and people should be awoke in this situation.
So who should resign? Madi Sise?
Adama Barrow should resign.
Adama Barrow should resign.
Impeachment procedures should begin with Adama Barrow, but being that the National Assembly members are actually being the ones who are getting bribed, they are not going to do anything about it. And UDP being in power, there's nothing that's not going to be done about it. What's going to happen now? I think it's left to the voters, for especially the people of Serekunda West, to stand out and kick this guy out. He might be very instrumental when it came to securing Gambia's Gambia stands against Jammeh. However, this is undone. You don't do that. You don't take money out of from the president and say, oh, so what? It's okay. I took the money. Nobody can bribe me. Who cares if anybody can bribe you? You just took money without any consequences. Do you even know where that money is coming from? How many times does Adama Barrow go out there to the wall to get money from other people and then come? Is that the money he's using? Where is he getting the money from? These are questions that need to be asked every single day by every Gambian. And until we ask these questions, this is just going to be horrible for Gambians. And we need to wake up. We don't need a president who's actually, yes, I consider myself, maybe I consider myself APRC supporter. Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, UDP supporter. And I will probably vote for UDP again, but I will not vote for Adama Barrow if I'm supposed to be voted. I am not voting for any National Assembly member who's involved in taking money or who's not speaking out against this money being taken. That's just a stance that Gambian people should take and understand that this is not done anywhere else in the world. You take $5 from anybody, you're supposed to be persecuted. It doesn't matter if you take $2 or you take $2 or you take $1 million. It's the same amount of money, in the same implications that is there. You don't take money from the executive from the executive branch, and you are a legislative branch. What is supposed to be done? The National Assembly member don't do anything. They don't have any work there. This is why they don't do anything that they're supposed to be doing. Who's investigating the president if he misacts? Nobody, because the National Assembly members have been bought and paid for. They're the instruments of Barrow. They're not doing anything over there, and people should take stands. People should be voting for people who actually will take stands against Barrow and not people. I mean, you can still be an APRC supporter and not vote APRC for one time. It's not going to be hurting. It's not going to hurt anybody. We should stop saying, we as Gambians, we should stop saying things like, oh, we are Mandinkas, so we are supposed to be voting for the Mandinka party. How is the country going to develop if that's the case? The country will never develop. Never. and that's basically what that's basically what I have to say mostly.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time, my brother.
Sorry?
I said thank you so much for your time. Thank you for calling
My
in.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank
And
you.
Gambians should actually wake up. This is not done anywhere else in the world. We should take a stand and fight corruption.
Thank you. Thank you. That is another caller there. Well, I think we'll move on, but if there is no caller for now, we might come back to the callers. I'm getting a signal that someone also is on the line. Let's try once more. If it is not, we'll move on the story with Honorable Sidia Jatta, the National Assembly member for Woolly West constituency. He is also the chairman of the PDOIS party. I asked him, the veteran politician, what is his assessment of President Adama Barrow's leadership 18 months into... Hello, yeah.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
Yeah, this is Manjang.
Yes, Manjang, how are you doing?
Yeah, fine. Omar.
Yeah.
I disagree with some of the comments and some of your previous callers. Mobika Satebe Bareka Fuka Alikalo Dati.
Right.
And that don't work anywhere.
Yes.
Yeah, Lawyer Dawo should take full responsibility.
Yeah.
And if what he is, the image he is portraying to the Gambian, if he truly believes that, I think he should resign and make a clean break from Adama Barrow.
Okay.
And why this thing doesn't start today. Adama Barrow went into an MOU with his colleagues, 8 of them.
Mm-hmm.
He walked out from that MOU, which was fully backed by Lawyer Dabo. If we call our Muslims, we cannot go into agreement. After the agreements, we alluded to the constitution. I think that was pure corruption. Then you have the 57 trucks. Nothing wrong with it if we know the source of those trucks. You know, who knows? The Simlex owners are behind it. There's a possibility.
Yes,
who knows? Somebody was offered a very, very lucrative contract because of those 57 trucks. That is pure corruption. Again, Lawyer Dabo have supported that wholeheartedly. So this 10,000 is just the tip of the iceberg. And what I'm really, really worried now, President Barrow spent 18 million just to tour the Gambia, the small Gambia.
Yeah.
Who knows where was that 18 million spent on?
Okay,
Who knows? He might be buying the
let me interrupt
UDP
you there.
Regional care persons. Who knows?
Why?
You know, so this is a very, very serious allegation. I give credit to Mahdi Cisse first to come out and admit, yes, I have it.
Mm-hmm.
But Mahdi should know that he should be remorseful. I'm really disappointed the way he answered. I think that shows pure arrogance. You know, Gambians still don't get the message. You cannot do that as a lawmaker. The whole world, the whole country putting their trust in you,
sure.
And you are coming public in such a way to tell, yeah, I take it, and so what? That really, really disappoints me a lot. And those who are keeping quiet, let them come out and tell the Gambian people truth. Because the 22 years we spent to get rid of Yaya Jammeh, so many people lost their life.
Mm-hmm.
Other people were and their life changed completely for the better. So if we have these parliamentarians, which we think will give us the laws that will stop us from going back to where we are now taking money from the executive, I think that is very, very disheartening. This is a time for the whole Gambia to come out.
Yes.
And so to this government that never again, we're not going to tolerate this again, because we have to show our outrage. We have to go and occupy Makar Square and tell President Barrow that he cannot take us for granted. You know?
Thank you.
My
Thank you.
heart, I'm really angry about it. Sorry about
yeah, it's okay. We have other people, so I have to cut you short there so that we can have other people's as well.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Mr. Manja. And the allegations and the bribe was given, orders denied. Mahdi Cisse, Honorable member for UDP, National Assembly member for Serekunda West, has admitted receiving $10,000 from Barrow's personal aid. But he said he did not consider it as a bribe, saying President Barrow cannot bribe him. Now, we are moving with a story. Honorables, I think there is somebody on the line. Hello?
Yes, Omar.
Yes, Coach. How are you doing?
I am great.
Good. Thank you for calling in again.
Hello?
Hello, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
What do you make of all this saga? Is it a power struggle, or who is responsible for all this mess?
Well, first of all, we cannot claim that we are surprised by any of this.
Right.
Because if Barrow, since coming into power, has been manifesting this great level of, if you want to call it dishonesty, in terms of dealings, and I think this guy lacks ethics. In him giving out money to people is just normal.
Yeah.
We have seen it with the 57 cars. We put telling us who the donor was.
Yeah.
We've seen it with the 11 million that was given to people from Mecca.
Yeah.
And then his argument again was it was an anonymous donor.
Donation, right.
They when there was an uproar where they decided to work that back. We've seen it with the 10,000. We've seen it with even the Barrow Foundation, Fatma Barrow Foundation.
Yeah.
The money that is also still not being accounted for. But I think what I find absolutely disgusting and disappointing is my friend Madi Cisse's response.
Yes.
And what really disgusts me about it is, here is Madi Cisse, somebody who is known to have been very, very strong against corruption, especially during the Jammeh days. He was a guy, the editor of the Daily News, who had exposed corruption against Jammeh, by Jammeh. Who had stood up against corruption by Jammeh. But to have this guy now all of a sudden sit here and try to justify the 10,000 that he received and to just dismiss it as, you know what, nothing happened, it was not bribery, nobody told me what it was for, so I didn't have to ask. To me, it's utterly disappointing.
Yes.
Definitely. And absolutely disgusting, and it really tears to the core of. In fact, it makes you wonder, where is our hope? If National Assembly members, especially people like Madi, who've been in the forefront, writing about corruption in the Second Republic and all that, can just come and dismissively say, you know what, they gave me 10,000, so what? If it was millions, I would ask, but it's just 10,000. And the sad thing, Omar, is just this past July.
Yeah.
The MPs had a training, anti-corruption training, you know, on writing anti-corruption legislation at the National Assembly. With the I think the keynote speaker was the former ambassador to the United States, to the Gambia. So why should Gambia now trust that Madi Cisse all of a sudden will stand up against corruption? And this is the same guy who has been talking about this Simlex issue, talking about it needed to be investigated. You know, these people have been accused of corruption and all that. For him to just come and tell us, you know what, it doesn't matter. Because I was giving 10,000 is nothing, so I can take it. I do not have to ask. I was not obligated to ask. To me, Omar, that is the most disappointing this in all that. Definitely.
Thank you so much, Coach, for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. That is Coach Basamba Jau there in the United States. Now we are moving on with a story. We had an interview with the chairperson of the PDOIS, Honorable Sidia Jatta, who is also the National Assembly member for Woodley West constituency, on his assessment of President Barrow's leadership, 18 months into office. Let's take a listen to that clip.
3G SIM card today for the Real Africell 4G SIM and receive 1 GB of internet data for free.
In the first place, Barrow's government is supposed to have been a coalition government run by the coalition. Ministers selected by Barrow in collaboration with a particular committee that was selected by the coalition. That has never taken place. So Barrow chose his ministers, and he has been firing some, taking orders like what we used to see before. And the fundamental expectation of the coalition is not just for Yahya to go. The fundamental objective is not to be new wine in old bottles. I have stated this over and over in the National Assembly. But it appears that we are new wines in old bottles. So my assessment of the government is that so far they have failed to meet the needs and aspirations of the people.
Many people also said it's because of Jawara that damaged PDOIS.
Jawara has
okay, let me finish. According to what
you see,
no, just listen to me.
Of
yes, okay. Oh, you call it a rubbish?
Of course it is
Jawara,
rubbish.
according to Jawara was the one who damaged because he told Gambian people that your ideology is like Mola Musutela Musutela Fenti. That's what you people do.
Then I should not have won. I should not have won.
Answer my question before you...
No, I'm answering your question. Then I should not have won.
Which election? You mean the recent...
All the elections are contested as an MP.
But that is at parliamentary level.
Yes,
how about at the presidential level?
No, but it's not even. Presidential level, the same. We have never, and I will repeat, we have never lost any election in this country. Tell me why.
Why?
The requirement of the law is that before you can contest elections as a political, you must have a manifesto. Nobody has ever disagreed with our manifesto in this country. Everybody supports our manifesto in what they say. So that is why that's our winning. If you say your manifesto is what is good for this country, and then you vote somewhere else, it is you who are losing.
Is pleased to launch Dalaba Housing Estate. Dalaba Housing Estate.
That was Honorable Sidia Jata, DOIS chairperson, and also the National Assembly member for Willie West constituency. We will take one or two calls. From there, we will end the show. But before we have another person on the line, we will see a recap of the interview we had with Honorable Madi Sise, the National Assembly member for Serekunda West, regarding the $10,000 allegation that has been given to the National Assembly members. You may remember, or you may know, the UDP member of Parliament for Upper Fuladu West, Honorable Kausu Jawara, blew the whistle, saying that he did that because he wants to stop any act of corruption. He doesn't want corruption in this country. We understand that some UDP MPs denied the allegations, but others, like Madi, accepted of receiving the money, but he said he did not consider it as a bribe. Another person is on the line. Hello?
Hey, Omar, how you doing?
I am doing well. Pata, how are you doing? Pata Sherikan.
I am good, man. I am doing well.
What is going on in your party? Is there any disarray or power struggle? I don't understand you are UDP.
Actually, Omar, the funny thing is, if we have to be, not even be technical about it, there's nothing going on with the party, because when you look at it, Adama Barrow tendered his resignation from the UDP. Even where we keep screaming, Adama is our Adama because he came from our horn, the guy is technically not a part of our party. So let's clear that. We don't have anything going on in our party. Now, the honest thing is that President Barrow, because he came out of the UDP, he kind of have a feeling that because he is the president of the Gambia, he is still the leader of the United Democratic Party. And as far as we know, when he was in the United Democratic Party, he was nothing but a deputy treasurer who was actually very instrumental, but then he was not the alpha and the omega of the party. So how is that supposed to change only because he's the president?
So why all these things? Now, at least there was, some of you are UDP, but you were here, Barrow is our Barrow. You said when you were, most of your people were quiet when the 57 vehicles trying to justify, but now you people are talking because it's kind of a threat to your party. Why now? Is that not a hypocrisy from the side of some of you?
So Omar, you say, if you follow me on Facebook, you will always hear that I always have this opinion about UDP to say any success that you see in this world, it will have its own shortcomings. There are bound to be fights, there are bound to be disagreements and stuff like that. So that is always expected. Now, what many people would not expect is that it was going to come from President Barrow, like somebody who, even when he got put in this position, depending on what happened, out of what happened, because people were in prison, President Barrow enjoys the support of every member of the United Democratic Party, especially Mr. Dabo. Even with that whole coalition thing to say a 3 or 5 year thing, Mr. Dabo was very, very clear about it.
Yes.
The Constitution gave the term of the president to be 5 years. We cannot shorten that. In hindsight, I think that was what actually emboldened President Barrow. We get it. But the one thing it also assures people is that Mr. Darboe is not any hungry or anywhere trying to undermine President Barrow in what he does. If Adama Barrow wants to secure another term, which, by the way, I had said it a million times that even where he was going to go on a UDP ticket, I am not going to support that. And I had said that way before this thing comes true. If Adama is coming today thinking that he is a president and he can call the people who are in charge of the UDP structures in the country, like the chairman, the MPs and councillors, and offering them money or even wanting to impose himself on the party, it doesn't bother me as much because I think it's an internal party thing that UDP are going to be taking care of. Adama Barrow is not anybody who is going to cause any kind of like a major rift in the party that is going to cost them anything. Is it nice? No, it is not. Do we like it this way? No, we do not. But it is something that I believe that the party is going to take care of. I am not too bothered with it.
Okay, now, why would you not vote for Barrow in the event that he secured another candidacy from your party also?
I am not going to vote Barrow for one thing, and then I think the first time I said something about this was in March,
right?
Which is when these political parties came together to have an agreement to say they needed to have one candidate, and that candidate was supposed to come as an independent candidate. The premise, the most important thing on that was like, so when the independent candidate comes and they quote unquote do the reforms and they have to go to another elections, that independent candidate will not be supporting any party, meaning we would not be giving advantage to any person or parties to be able to have that major influence in the next elections to be able to win. Kind of like the advantage of incumbency. Okay. That is it. So to me, even if it were Ousainou who had won that thing, I could not have allowed Ousainou to have another term, to have an advantage, because if that happens, that means they have cheated everybody else in this whole thing. So that is one main reason that I said I was not going to support Adama Barrow. Now, seeing what is going on now, what Adama is doing, even if Adama is accorded another opportunity to have another term, the whole essence of what we're trying to do with the Constitution to have a term limit of like two 5-year terms, it is very evident that President Barrow is going to do the same thing that happened in Senegal, in claiming that his first 5 years is not something that is going to count, because that one was not, it actually did not come in by the time the Constitution comes in, if you know what I mean. So meaning we're going to be looking at President Barrow having, or one president having up to like 15-year term, that is if they win elections. That is not something that I can ride with. I'm not writing that. And the alternative argument that people are giving is like, oh, if you can support President Barrow for to not honor the 3 years, then he should be able to. I'm like, look, I think that is crazy. That is a very, very false equivalence. My whole issue with the 3 and the 5-year thing is this: President Barrow, United Democratic Party, we're not the only ones who came up with that 3-year thing, right? It was an agreement, whether Ousainou was there or not. It was an agreement, signed or not. If anybody was to change that, even if that is going to be President Barrow was going to change his mind or anybody, I would expect the 8 of them to go and sit on a table, like Fatimata Tambajan said when they were having an anniversary, to go and sit to say, look, when we were coming in, we came with the 3 years, but the work at hand is actually too much. We cannot do it in 3 years. Then they reconcile that with the 5 year that they have. Or they can say, well, it does not matter how much work we have. We came with 3 years. The majority of us are going to go with President in 3 years, and they go with that. What I would hate is, I do not want President Barrow to single-handedly come out and say, I am going to go for 5 years because I'm the president. Okay. I never like that. But if they are able to reconcile this with the Constitution, that is understandable, because people have to understand. When we keep talking about these people came out to tell, oh, they came out and tell us that they're going to be 3 years. We have to understand anything. Anybody who holds that manifesto, I have it over here. Anyway, anybody who sees the MOU or even the manifesto, you will understand that the 3-year thing is in there as part of the promises, just like any other thing that you have seen in there, including the 2-term limit, including making sure that they remove the age limit, including better than health care and education. Every single one of them are promises that they have in there. Now, the 3-year is not what Gambians voted for. It is just among the promises that they have, even though it is crucial. At that time, if these people had agreed with even 5 years for the president, people were good for him, because Gambians wanted Yahya Jammeh out at all costs at the time. So if,
like Sida Jada said, they just don't want Jammeh out of this country. They want to lay a solid foundation. But I have to interrupt you there, and thank you so much for your time.
Okay, no, but wait, the animal in the room, let me say something about that, which is the 10,000 that you were talking about. Okay, right? Can
you just summarize
Omar,
that one?
Okay. Yes, I will summarize. I am very, very proud of Sana Jawara, and I think what Sana and any other MP that did not receive that money, what they did was the best. But I am